by shit counter. Some people think I'm a quack or, I made it all up, but, I can assure you I'm not making it up. And again, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, I realize by sharing this type of encounter, some people think I'm a quack or, I made it all up, but, I can assure you I'm not making it. And again, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean,
All right. Um, I want to share this video to show the discrepancies in the accounts that Jeremiah Johnson has shared. He claims to have had an angelic visitation on New Year's Eve of 2018 at a conference he was at with Morning Star Ministries. But the first thing that I'm going to show here is that Josiah Johnson actually on December 20th, 2018, he shared 2019, the year of the boom in the upper room. Again, this is December 20th, 2018. And then so Jeremiah, and you'll see this in a moment here, claims that he had an angelic visitation. Two angels visit him on New Year's Eve 2018. This is Josiah sent a text message to Jeremiah. I snipped the screen and his face is partially cut off there, but you can see Jeremiah, Jen, that's Josiah's wife, and this is June 7th, 2019. So about 6 months after that conference where he supposedly had the angelic visitation. Jen was really upset when you took my message, the boom in the upper room that I shared with you, and released it as if it was your own message in the beginning of the year at Morningstar. Beginning of the year, Morningstar. Josiah here is claiming that it was his own message and that Jeremiah took it and said that it was his own. Okay. So again, Josiah shares this on Facebook. Here's the snip of it. December 20th, 2018. July 7th, 2019, he sends a confronting text. So here's the book. This is the sample that's the first chapter is free on Amazon.com. This is Jeremiah Johnson's book, the foreword written by Patricia King, Judgment on the House of God, Cleansing and Glory are Coming, Jeremiah Johnson. Different endorsements. I'm going to click here to get to that first chapter one. And you can see copyright 2020. This was actually released, I think, April 1st of 2020. So it was in the works sometime, obviously, before that point. Forward by Patricia King. I think there was a second forward special introduction by Dr. Michael Brown. That's interesting. Here's chapter one, Angelic Visitation. So the details I want to highlight here. This was published April or released April 1st, 2020. Details, he mentions the New Year's conference with the Arnotts and Daniel Kalenda. Okay. Carol and John Arnott, Daniel Kalenda. See where the cursor's pointing that out. Two angels appear to him. He says one angel had fiery blue eyes. This is important and held a huge broom. What he's given distinct details here, or maybe not the same consistent telling of it from one telling of the to the other. So this is the first recorded, and he's saying it had fiery blue eyes, the one that had the broom. And then he also says the other angel was an angel of glory, clothed in breathtakingly beautiful garments. Many of the colors in these garments I have no name for. I have never seen these colors here on earth. So he's given details about that. And in the other tellings, the details are not told exactly the same way. I think that's pretty important when you're saying that you saw an angel, you saw the Lord, you heard from God. The retelling of it should be pretty close to the same. Anyway, the angel of cleansing spoke first. If the church was going to be visited by the angel of glory, she must first receive the angel of cleansing. Okay. That so he's saying this angelic visitation was foretelling of some glory, but there has to be some cleansing first. But I want to point out to you here that this encounter ends, he goes back to sleep, and he wakes up in the morning. The boom in the upper room. You see this heading here? That means the angels, according to the telling that's in chapter one of this book, the angels did not say anything about the boom in the upper room. Okay. After sleeping the rest of the night, I woke up the following morning with the tangible presence of God filling my room. I immediately recognized that this encounter was setting the trajectory of my life and ministry for the years ahead. I asked God. Who did he ask? He asked God. This is the morning after the angelic visitation. I asked God specifically about the large broom that was in the hands of the angel of cleansing, and he replied, Jeremiah, he said, there is a boom that is coming again to the upper room, but there must first be a sweeping of the broom that is in my house once again. So God, he is asking God, and God said there's a boom that is coming again to the upper room. You see that there? There's a boom that is coming again to the upper room. Let's cue up this next video. Um,
Jeremiah, welcome to the program today. Tell us a little bit about the two angels that visited you in the dream that night.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. In this encounter, an angel of glory that was just pure gold wearing a white sash entered into my room. And then there was an angel of cleansing that had a large broom in its hands. And I began to interact with these two angels at night.
Okay, first, there's a little distinct detail here, and that doesn't necessarily make it altogether false. But he says in the first one that the garments were really breathtakingly beautiful, and they were made of colors that he had no name for, he'd never seen before. Well, now he's telling this, and he's saying that it appeared to him with a white sash. Maybe not the biggest deal in the world, but it's a different detail.
And they began to tell me that there is a boom that is coming to the upper room.
Okay. And I want to interject this thought here. He's saying there's a boom. The angels are telling him there's a boom coming to the upper room. Well, wait a second, Jeremiah. I just read chapter 1 of your book where you said that wasn't spoken to you till the next morning after, and that it was God said it to you as you were praying and asking him about the broom. And then you heard the word, the boom's coming to the upper room. This recording is from July 31st of 2020. This is about about 3 months after the book was released. So come on, things are already not adding up. Who said it? Did the angel say it or did God say it?
I believe that they were saying to me that there's a mighty outpouring of the Holy Spirit that is coming to the global church. But then they began to tell me before the boom comes, the broom must come.
See, before the boom comes, the broom must come. Again, did the angel say that to you when they visited you in the hotel room, or did God say that to you the next morning when you were in prayer? I'm gonna start playing this clip about 5 minutes.
On tonight's stream, I'm going to be sharing a visitation that I had with two angels. This is the only encounter I've ever personally had with angels. I have seen several over the years in different meetings and things of that nature, but I'm definitely not one of those guys that just talks to angels or even shares this. It's a pretty holy thing that marked my life. But as I was praying about the month of June and here, asking the Holy Spirit what it is that He wanted me to share with our listeners and our viewers here in the month of June, I just felt so strongly that God was taking me back to this encounter. I had it in 2018. And the background is I was speaking at an end of the year conference in 2018 with Daniel Kalenda, Christ for the Nations there in Orlando, Florida. Some of you might know Daniel. He was one of the.
So he's reiterating these details, saying it was that New Year's conference. He mentions Daniel Kalenda, John and Carol Arnott, just like he did in chapter 1 of the book. And it's important also in this telling of it, and this is June 5th of 2023. It's important to note that in this telling of it, that he's saying this is the only angelic visitation that he's ever had.
The speakers, and then I was also speaking with John and Carol Arnott. Many people know them from the Toronto days, Catch the Fire. But I was doing this big end of the year prophetic conference in 2018 with them and some other individuals, and I went to sleep in the hotel where we were staying that night. And as I was asleep, I was awakened. I woke up in the hotel room because two angels had came into the room there with me. And one of them was bright blue, and one of them was a golden angel that had a sash on its shoulders. It was carrying a sword in its hand, the golden angel, and the blue angel was carrying a big broom. And in this visitation, I knew that the gold angel was an angel of glory, and the blue angel with the broom was an angel of cleansing. And in this encounter that I had the last night, December 31st of 2018, this was an encounter with these two angels. I like wasn't praying like, oh God, send me, two angels. There's nothing like that going on, I can assure you. But as these two angels came into my hotel room and I woke up and began to, see them like I'm seeing you, like, imagine two human beings would walk into the room. One of the angels was about 10 feet tall. The other angel was about, I would say, probably 8 feet tall, but they were both glowing and shining, radiant in appearance. I would say I was full of the fear of God, but also I was very aware that they were trying to communicate a message to me.
I'm going to emphasize right here. Imagine at 3 a.m. or however, whatever part of the middle of the night it was, and you suddenly have an 8-foot angel and a 10-foot angel appear in your room and they give you a message. I don't think that you would later on retell that and be confused about who told the message at what point. Did God say there's a boom in the upper room, but first comes the broom? Did God say that the next morning, or did the angel say that? I don't think that you have an encounter like that and you mess up major details.
Regarding something that has really marked and changed my life. And so the angel of glory there and an angel of cleansing with a big broom. And this is what the angel of cleansing told me the last day of 2018. The angel said to me, there's a boom that's going to come to the upper room again. But before the boom comes, the broom must come. And it put the broom out. Before the boom comes, the broom must come. And then the golden angel, this angel of glory, said to me, there are many people in the church who want the glory, but they don't want the cleansing. And then it looked at me and said, read Ezekiel 44. And as soon as the angel of glory said, read Ezekiel 44, they both turned and walked out of the room, literally like through the wall, just boom, vanished. And it was like in a moment. I'm not sure, honestly, how long the encounter lasted. I know that the clock at that moment said 3:33, but I'm not sure if the encounter was a few minutes. I don't know that it was more than a few moments, but I do remember very clearly that I woke up as the angels appeared in the room to me and gave this message from God to me. And as they vanished that night, I laid back down to sleep and then woke up the next morning and began to journal everything that I could remember that they had said to me. And then I began to read Ezekiel 44, and I began to, I would say I really began a journey in God.
Okay, so he got up the next morning and journaled all this stuff. In the book, he says that he got up in the morning and he had prayer time and spoke to God. Major detail missing there. And the fact that he can't keep these details straight from one telling to another really indicates to me that this is hokey, that he made it up. Based on the evidence that I shared, I think, and this is my opinion, I think that he plagiarized the whole thing from Josiah, that he ran with the idea at the conference. It was well received. And then later he publishes it in a book and he's retold the story several times. I've seen one other recording where he shared that visitation, and maybe he said it at a lot of different conference type meetings. He's gotten a lot of mileage out of this thing. But I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't think that it's true. I think he made it up. No, that's just my opinion. What do you think? Test all things and hold fast to that which is good. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, I believe it's verse 15, says, he that is spiritual judges all things. It's the mature who discern between good and evil. Hebrews 5 verse 14. So test it. What do you think? Don't rely on my opinion about this, but there's the facts. They're all spread out right before you. What do you think?
I mean, I realize by sharing this type of encounter, some people think I'm a quack or, I made it all up, but, I can assure you I'm not making it all. And again, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, I realize by sharing this type of encounter, some people think I'm a quack or, I made it all up, but, I can assure you I'm not making it. And again, I'd love.
God bless you. Thanks for listening.